Hello everyone, today I'll read about my story named The Mud Kingdom, written by Haidang. It's me. Slowly, Peter and Mark rode their bike through the forest. Above their head, the green leaves were rushing. The birds were chirping far away. Sometimes they heard some cars and motorbikes were honking far away. The white wet fox covered their face. The smell of the trash burning early made them sneeze. Peter and Mark carefully used other hand to close their nose and quickly toward the muddy pond at the end of the road. When they arrived, they threw their bag on the grass and started to have some rest. Peter took off his hoodie jacket and pulled out his fluffy hamburger and quickly had a full mouth. He couldn't breathe and replied to Mark's question. Mark sat down near Peter. He looked down and grabbed his tiny bottle to sip water. It was silent here, he exclaimed. He stood up and went toward to the front pond. That was little water and some bubble on the surface. Suddenly, bubbles were popping up gradually, more and more, coming when Mark stepped close to the pond. Look, something weird. Come and see, Peter, yelled Mark. He turned his back and got a long stick that lay down next to his leg. He tried to test how much the muddy was. Plop, plop. Suddenly, long arm raised up like a flash of light. Then his whole body was deep into the mud. Help me, help me, Mark screamed, but Peter could not hear it because he was so far away. The big monster pulled Mark down into the mud kingdom without the notice of Peter. When the rain began to pour, Peter stood up and searched for Mark. He yelled and yelled for Mark, but there was no reply. Then Peter sat down with a disappointed and worried face. For a while, the little fairy came and asked, "Why are you crying, Peter?" He had up and asked, "Who are you, and how can you know my name?" She gently says, "I am the fairy of this mud kingdom. I live in here for 1,000 years." "Why did you cry?" asked again the fairy. "I lost my brother," Peter answered with a tremble voice. With an aggressive voice, she frankly sure that your brother must be in the mud kingdom. This evil mud monster did the same thing with other people before I was absent at the pond. With unfinishing explaining, she made a big portal and let Peter and she went into it. For a moment, they were in the mud kingdom. Peter called and screamed for Mark loudly. When Mark heard Peter calling his name, Mark began to run to Peter. The more he moved, the harder he could feel. His body stood still like a cement statue. He utterly spoke any word. The fairy swung the fairy swung her magic wand and saw Mark was freezing. Quickly, she tapped the wand on his shoulder, and sparkly Mark could move and talk again. He saw Peter and jumped and hugged each other with joyfulness. A big bubble like a gym ball appeared, and he angrily destroyed everything he saw on the Mad Kingdom. With the help of the fairy, Peter and Mark began to have a big fight with the monster. The battle took 3 hours. Finally, they defeated the monster and got the beast for the villager. At the end of the story, they came to a Mud King to get a prize. The king put them a bottle to the earth and let Peter and Mark come home. When the bad mud monster had been killed, the kingdom of mud lived happily ever after. So bye bye, see you again in the next video. I hope you like it. Bye bye.